Welcome, Adam. Welcome back. Yeah.
Hello. How are you?
And so I think it's okay to say, since not everyone watches the video attached to this, some just listen to the
I
audio,
know,
and
and
that's
in
okay.
a lot of cases, that's a good thing. I think not for you,
We
my
do
fair lady.
stop. However, we will say, for those who viewing, thank you for your patience with us as we work on things like backdrops and lighting and all those fluffy details. And we ask that you simply enjoy the content and the journey with us.
Yes. Over time, I think the visuals will be classed as like modern art or something like that.
Yeah,
Well, that's in the olden days. Oh, I see.
oh yes, look at us way back when.
Yeah, I
And
know.
this will
Don't worry.
be used as people with super success. Way after we've gone and taken that bus out of here, they'll
Yeah,
be using this as a bit of a template of look
I
how
know.
they used to do podcasts. Isn't
This
this
is how we got
hilarious? It's all good. It's all good. We both know and agree that perfection is a myth. And
absolutely.
so,
From what I know about the people that are listening to the podcast already, because I've actually met a few now. Nobody cares. It's fine. They don't watch. They listen.
that's right. It's the
This is what we
content, baby. It's the
exactly. Actually,
content.
quite a few people go to sleep with us in their ears.
Do you know, I was just thinking I
Mm.
would like to record some sort of, calm sleep story or something. I feel like I
Oh,
could get on board with that.
you could so get on board with that because you've got the perfect voice for hypnosis. Everybody listening, Alison's done hypnosis sessions with me before, and oh my god. Well,
Beautiful.
I lost 32 kilos after that. I think.
That's right,
Did
Adam,
you know
isn't
that?
it? That's
Yes,
right.
that's right. That's right. Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, look, we
Yeah.
digress. We
Anyway, yes, we're
digress.
there. We're going. Come on. So we're
Yeah,
going
I feel
into doing the next presuppositions of NLP, which are
exactly. We're doing 3 and 4, Adam.
yes.
Okay, over to me.
This is number 3, Alison.
Number 3. Number 3. Resistance in a conversation is a sign of a lack of rapport or inflexible communicators. Effective communicators accept and utilize all communication presented to them. And the
Yeah.
first thing I thought of when, teasing this one apart is when you're talking to someone, and I've seen this in so many conversations and it's made fun of, I guess, in, TV and whatnot. You'll say something and the person says, what? Nah, I don't get it. And so the speaker repeats exactly what they've just said, only sometimes louder or slower.
Mm.
Same
But like when you go
content.
to a foreign country, you say the same English words but louder, and apparently that's
Yes.
French. Yes.
Well, and apparently, what that would suggest is that the listener's not actually deaf. They simply do not have rapport with you. And
Yeah.
rapport is something we go into quite deeply when we do NLP training, metacognition training. Rapport is a cornerstone, isn't it, of all
It is. Yeah.
communication.
Yeah.
So that was, the first thing I thought of when I talk about resistance in a conversation is a sign of a lack of rapport. It's that if you're having to repeat yourself, or if the other person appears to be sort of shutting you down and not really wanting to, that inflexibility, whether
Yeah.
it's from you or
It's
them, it's still rapport.
exactly. It's kind of manifest as a as disagreement, that kind of reluctance to change, or that they're just not engaging with the conversation, or I mean, look, some people fall out of rapport with their partners, and that's why their husbands never listen to them. I mean, it could be all of that kind of stuff. But like you said, it's important to understand that resistance in a it's not just what's the word I'm looking for? Oppositional behaviour. It's a signal for us. If you see what I
Yes,
mean, you can
good
use it
word.
as a signal, because it really can indicate the discomfort or in communication at home. It could be unmet needs, or it's really just the communicator's approach to the model, to the individual's model of the world, and we spoke about that last time. Do you see what I mean? Did
Yeah.
that make sense? I didn't put it together very well.
Yeah. No. I'm following you, and so I'm just going to trust that everyone else is as well. So
Okay,
if
good.
we take what you've just said and move it to the second part of number 3, which is effective communicators accept and utilize all communication presented to them. And so what we're talking
Yeah,
about here, which is all forms part of rapport building, is things like body language. So you're utilizing as a communicator what body language you're picking up. And that's what you were touching on just then. Oh, touching on body language. So inappropriate.
again,
Uh, is picking
love
up
it.
that if, simple things could be things like if you're talking to someone and they sit back and cross their arms. That
Yes.
is language, and it's a signal, great word. It's a signal that there is a loss of rapport with whatever you're saying. That's not vibing with them. And so
Yeah.
you can, retrace your steps at that point instead of continuing on where you've already lost
Exactly.
them at that point. So
Yeah.
body language, tone, pitch, and volume. I'm not sure that that's actually discussed enough, Adam. The fact that
No.
I can be quite a loud talker sometimes if I'm really excited. I know, who
What?
figure? I surprised. Yes, thank you for that. And I find because I'm a forward speaker and I project my voice, that when I'm speaking with someone and they're a soft talker,
Mm.
I had to learn how to not judge them for that.
Yeah.
That instead, what I can do to communicate effectively with them is adjust myself a little bit, adjust my volume a little bit, just come down just a tad. It doesn't have to be the same. You don't want to copy the person
Yeah, because
yet.
they might start thinking you're taking the piss. Yeah.
Exactly, right? So, but it's adjusting and utilizing if they're a soft talker, or perhaps, you know, using their tone as a signal. Has their tone suddenly changed? If
Yes.
you can pick up
That's a
on those things,
really,
you can learn so much.
yeah, it's a really,
Yep.
really good point. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it. The
It's
other one I've written down,
less confrontational, isn't it? I guess because they might feel a
yeah,
bit. Oh, that is a kind of, yeah, it's in your face. It's
yeah.
good.
The other one I wrote down to discuss in this part was utilizing things like slang. What are their colloquialisms that they're using in communication?
Yeah.
And I've been slagged off a few times in communication with different people sometimes, because I tend to, and I don't know if you've picked this up sometimes, Adam, when I'm talking with someone, I tend to take on some of the slang words they use, and in the accent that, or the way that they say it as well.
Yeah.
And if they're a bit touchy about that, you get the same result as you'd said previously, like you taking the piss. No,
Mm.
I'm really not. It's so you've got to watch yourself, I suppose, and pick your audience. However, slang, when I think about that in a broader term, if that person uses a lot of slang in their language, then you throwing in a little slang here and there, it's going to help you communicate effectively. You don't have to go full,
Absolutely.
dropping the F-bomb every second word. You maintain who
Oh, I
you
really.
are.
Is that where I went wrong? Maybe.
Do you mean not to drop the F-bomb every... What? I mean, you and I, we have no
Oh my
problem.
God.
All language is beautiful. So
No.
the bottom line with this is that we like people who are like us.
Yes. And
And
actually,
so
when you
if
think about
we
it,
like...
have you ever had a best friend that you're like, so on that same point, a best friend or a group of friends, and after a period of time, you all start using the same words. I don't know where I got that word from. Was it when I met you, Dave? Because somebody's come into the group, and all of a sudden, everyone's saying the same word. It's the same thing. Groups of friends and all that stuff are just naturally taking each other on because they're all in rapport with each other. So. During
Exactly.
it's not just it's a mimicking thing across the board. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is
And it
fascinating.
becomes quite unconscious, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It does
It,
become completely
yeah.
unconscious. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I've been amongst people, groups of friends or couples, where you almost think they have their own language. And it's simply
Okay.
that they've been in rapport, or they are in such a rapport that their communication is effective together because they're adjusting, they're constantly calibrating against
Yeah,
each
it's so
other
effective
so that
they
yeah, exactly. And I think a beautiful thing that you can tell you're in rapport with someone, where you've got, oh, I've nailed this now, is when you're having a conversation with someone who's, relatively new in your life, not someone you've known forever. And you get to that point in the conversation where they say, oh, it's like you're reading my mind. It's like we've known each other forever. Those kinds
Mm,
of cues, they're another signal. It's another signal that, okay, I'm on the right track here with how I'm communicating with this person.
yeah.
And then you're going to be able to get your message across so much more effectively and have so much more impact.
Yes.
Thoughts, Adam?
Love
Yeah.
it.
Love it. So do you think we've number 3, you happy with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, and do you know
Loving
what?
the bling today, by the way.
Just a little bit more. Having that flexibility to do all these things, to notice these things, and implement them. Adjusting your approach, even based on these signals that you're receiving. So the folding the arms, or the resistance itself being a signal, etc. That's how when you become more effective and you've learned all of the communication styles that you will learn through training, obviously. The it's quite amazing the effectiveness you have, that flexibleness to be able to adjust, not just be like oh well, I'm just going to do it this way. Just that flexibility is key, I think.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And one of the biggest things I learned in that sort of training was really appreciating and using a pause. Because
Yeah.
if you notice something different, and so many people notice a lack of rapport, they don't necessarily know that's what it is. However, they notice that something's tipped, something's changed. And because they don't have the training, instead of pausing and being comfortable and okay with a pause in the conversation where they can recalibrate, they sort of just think, oh, hang on, what's changed? And they go into like rescue mode. Holy shit. Okay, we've got to do something.
Yeah.
And, it can snowball and just turn into an absolute train wreck. So
Yeah.
learning how to pause in communication is such a skill when it comes to picking up where the other person is, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool point, Adam.
Marvelous.
Thank you.
Love it.
Marvelous. Love
Nick?
it. See? Marvelous. Love it.
Marvelous. Love it. Where did you get
And
that
yet,
from?
I'm as bogan as they come. So anyway, all right.
Oh my God, what's happening to me?
Number 4.
4.
Yeah, I'm boganizing you. Boganizing right now,
Thank God
baby.
somebody had to do it.
Okay, yeah, number 4. Let's move on. Is a lot of NLP students' favorites, a lot of trainers' favorites, and definitely Adam's personal favorite. People are not their behaviors. Accept the person, not the behavior.
Yes.
And doesn't that get mixed up so often? When I started teaching NLP, I found this was the biggest pushback, and I had to adjust and recalibrate. The biggest pushback when I would say people are not their behaviors, straight away it was accepted as, oh, so what? You mean it's okay for them to treat me like that? No, that's not what I said. However, do you see, it was such a common meaning that people were giving it when I'd say people are not their behaviors. It was like I was giving people a free pass to behave however they want. And that's not the case, is it, Adam?
No, it's not. So,
Give us the lowdown.
it's well, the distinction is important for several reasons. I think, but both in understanding yourself and in interactions with others. So, I really think it comes. You've got to separate the identity from the action. So, the idea that people are
Yes.
not their behaviours emphasizes that what we do, our behaviours, I mean, doesn't define who we are, our identity. Behaviours are seen as actions or responses to the specific the context or the trigger, the stimuli, for a better word that goes with it, right? Because those can change. So
Yeah.
whereas identity is more about the core of who a person. Well, look, the identity is all about the core of who a person really believes they are. So you've got to separate the identity from the action. The next is promoting positive change from from the whole thing. So by distinguishing the person and their actions, you've got to it just becomes easier to change the behavior that's happening, the behavior that you're not enjoying, or that's not empowering, so to speak. But it's hard to do that without really negatively impacting self-esteem or self-worth, etc. So that's what you don't want to do. So it encourages the belief that change is possible, because if the behaviors are not intrinsic to who we are, they can be modified or replaced with more positive ones. Yeah. Then oh God, there's so much.
It's a big subject. It's not a simple thing to explain.
It's a big subject. Responsibility and empowerment, I guess. You've got to really encourage responsibility and empowerment. So what that does is it also encourages the individual to take responsibility for their actions without feeling that their core self is under attack. Rather than like, well, do you know what you did there? You've got to encourage that responsibility and saying, well, how could you have done that better? Maybe, is there another way that you could have approached that? You've really got to help people work through it. Because it's empowering to know that you've got that agency to change your behaviour. There was a time when I was an absolute angry hothead, and it was fireworks like immediately, and it was absolutely pointless, and it never got me anywhere. I thought it was all to do with me, pushing my identity forward and acting strong, but actually it was the complete opposite. But I had to separate myself, my core identity, from the behaviour itself, and then realised I just needed to change the behaviour. But somebody encouraged me to do that and be responsible for it, because that's the only way you can change it, and you don't damage your lovely self-esteem and all that stuff. So you get that personal growth and improve relationships across the board with everybody that interacts with you. Because if people are like, "Oh God, dreading speaking to them about that," that's not conducive to moving forward of things, is it? And on that point, it's about enhancing the communication and the relationship. So because in relationships, distinguishing between people and their behaviours really reduces the conflict in general. So many people have got this so right, they never really even have any conflict, because they're so good at communicating with each other. And of course that just promotes a healthier dynamic across the board. So it allows for feedback and criticism, to be really directed at the specific actions rather than at the person. It's about the action, not the person. Which is really less likely to flick the switch for a defensive reaction, and be more constructive dialogue backwards and forwards. That way of doing things, then great. So it's really about how do we implement the principle then. You've got to use language that's separates the person from the behavior. So none of the, instead of saying, you're selfish, you might say, well, when you do X, it feels like my needs are being ignored. That would be a different way to put it. Does that make sense? Yeah. No? Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought I'd lost
Yes, I
you.
am.
Yeah, I froze for a second.
No, I'm still here. You're really laggy.
Okay.
Super laggy at your end.
Am I? Oh, okay. Sorry. Then focusing on the behaviour that you want to change, rather than putting a label on that person. Oh my God, they're just difficult all the time. Blah blah blah. Because you'd be surprised how much that stuff sticks. So it's just way more productive in that personal development. When you're helping other people to grow, so that's parents and their families and all of that stuff. Oh my God, Skype's going off. I'm very sorry. 1 second. Dear oh dear, I'm so sorry. Hope that doesn't come out on the recording. And where did I get to? Last thing is the person that you're dealing with. Again, it just comes back to encouragement. Encourage that self-reflection. The person to really look at their self. Give them the tools to be able to deal with it, and self-compassion. Not like, oh, I did it again, I'm such a bastard. None of that. That's not productive at all. So recognize that everyone makes mistakes, and the mistakes don't define us. Then it's a really powerful motivator for change. Okay, sermon over.
Okay, let me see. So I will give my thoughts on this, and I'm going to make it succinct. I think that where the problem goes with this one that I've seen is we label people as the response. And here's my question to those listening. We've all been angry at something. So are you an angry person? I would say no. I've certainly been angry at times. However, I wouldn't consider myself, my identity, as an angry person. We've all been sad at different things. And yet, are you a sad person? Some would say yes, Alison. No, it's like we've got to focus on the fact that it's okay to label the response. Oh, that person is reacting with an angry response to that. They're angry about that. It doesn't make them an angry person. scared. You know, I consider myself to be quite a brave person. And yet, sure as shit,
Yeah.
I've been scared of things at times. So I don't
Yeah.
consider myself a scared person as a whole. And here's a really interesting one. Violence. Now, I've had across the board, many students, when I ask this question, will say, oh, I'm not a violent person. And
Yeah.
then I say, well, if you were walking down the road with your kids and someone tried to snatch one of your kids, would you fight? And they're like, oh, hell yeah, I would. Yeah, it'd be on, you know. So I said, so you're capable of acts of violence, yet you're not a violent person. Is that correct? Yeah, that's right. So in the same
Yeah.
tone, when we talk about people and not their behaviors, we are all capable of acts of anger. We are all capable of acts of narcissism, by the way. We are all capable of that kind of response and behavior. It does not make us that thing as a person. And so, in learning how to separate that and really practice the art of separating the behavior from the person, what it allows us to do is to have a lot more empathy, where if we choose to engage with that person and help them through whatever they're going through, we're able to look past the behavior and, you know, allow them to have the response. You know, it's okay to feel angry at something. You're entitled to your emotional
Absolutely. And
response.
it's
And
important to feel it, isn't it? You know?
yeah, you know, rather than suppress it. Yes, feel it, verbalize it if need be in a way that doesn't impact other people. And then if you have empathy for that person underneath the behavior, then you're able to come in and say, you know, geez, that must be really hard for you. However, I've got a question. Now that you've sort of outraged and got the anger out, what's a way for you to move forward past this? What's your action you want to
Yeah.
take that's going to actually empower you rather than hold you back? You know, so you can ask questions that are going to address the person rather than address the behavior. So this is such an
Exactly right.
important lesson that must be practiced as a trainer, as a practitioner. If your trainer or practitioner or coach is not practicing this presupposition every day in their life, I feel there's a problem there, because this is
Well,
so
there is,
core.
yeah. It really is cool. When I really got my head around it, a whole raft of stuff just shifted and completely changed.
Yeah.
And it's how I dealt with everyone really. You know, when you know, I say to people, when you come out the other side of your learning NLP, you basically can never get angry with or upset with anybody ever again, ever.
Well, you
Because
can.
you know,
Uh, you
well,
can. However, you then
can
spend all that time coaching
get rid of it.
yourself.
Absolutely. I just find it's just no point getting upset now. It's like, oh, just don't even go there because you go and pick it 10 minutes later anyway. You go, oh, and then you're, oh, but people know their behaviours, blah blah blah. You know, it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful place to be. We're all human, obviously. I have my moments once a year these days,
Well,
but you
and
know, in comparison, I used to be upset with people
that's
50
an
times an
important
hour.
distinction to make, though, is that um, it's okay to get angry. You can get angry. You can get sad. Um, all of the
Yeah,
emotions are a flag, a signal for you to take notice of something that is out of alignment in your life. And that's, you know,
yes,
that we'll get into that a lot later in some of the other presuppositions. However, like, yes, you know, get upset at something. That's okay. What you will find, though, is when you practice this all the time, is that you allow yourself the emotion, and then you sit there and go, okay, the fuck was all that about? What's going on for
yeah,
me, really? And you dig a little deeper and you turn it on yourself and really get to know yourself, and with love and with empathy, because you also understand that you are not your behaviors. in
You
your
know what?
identity has
That's a
triggered that.
massive point. We are also not our behaviours. It's yeah, huge. Do you know what? I'm so glad we're doing this. This is all so important. It really is. It's the core foundation of, and it feels so simple,
It
but it's like it's the secret magic, you know?
I love that. You're right. It seems so simple in its, you know, in its language, doesn't it? It seems like a simple concept, and yet it is one of the hardest ones for people to truly live. Because even
Yeah.
ourself, think of, you've got to start with yourself. Even ourself, it took me so long to get out of that mindset of things like if I made a mistake, saying to myself, oh, I'm such a stupid XYZ, I'd say, I'm no good at that because I made a mistake. And so straight away adopting the behaviors, I see mums do it all the time. So they get really tired or they're hungry or whatever, and they snap at their child. And then they'll suddenly put that to their identity that they're a bad mum. No,
Yeah.
let's
No.
really practice separating these labels and just look at the behavior. And when you can do that and dissociate from the behavior and talk to the person yourself, what's really going on here, you can do it with empathy and love. And that's when you grow. That's when you learn about yourself. It's just brilliant. I
Definitely.
love it, Adam. I'm with you.
I really do. Yeah, I really, really do. Okay. Wonderful. So we did 2, didn't we? I think we did. Fantastic.
Yes, we've done 3 and 4. So next episode we're going to do 5 and 6. So let me just give you a little quick sneaky peek on 5 and 6. Number 5 is everyone is doing the best that they can with the resources they have available. Love that one.
Oh,
And I know, Adam,
so
you and
good.
I have had discussions about this one in regards to our parents.
Yes.
When we've talked about our parents together. So that'll be a cool discussion.
Yeah.
And number 6 is calibrate on behavior. So that's a really cool one as well. Calibrate on behavior. We'll touch on that one as well and let you know what that's all about, according to the world of Adam and Ali anyway.
Marvelous. Lovely. Well, always a pleasure. And we'll see everyone next week.
Always. Such a tonic.
All right. Take care.
Bye for now.
Bye, love.